and I'm the proud A&C Commissioner of 8A06. I stand before you today very excited about the economic development that's coming here to the historic Anacostia. The community had always believed that they should have a say in what happens in their SMD, in their communities. They believe they should be included, and that's what our mayor, Mayor Bowser, have done. I want to thank the ASC commissioners who came before me. Troy Presswood, who was the chair, Greta Fuller, Tion Jones. They work hard with our council member, the Honorable Trayon White, with 4 Point to bring a vision here, things such as the hotel, senior development, infrastructure, and other things that's more to come to this SMD. Bridging the gaps where people can walk over from the Navy Yard and to see what we have and what we have become from the old to the new. I also stand here before you. Just a couple of years ago, I was homeless living in this SMD. Always dreamed of things such as this. And to see this come true, not only am I the ANC commissioner of this SMD, but now I'm a homeowner because of the programs that our mayor, Mayor Bowser, had put in front of us. So, without more further ado, I would like to introduce you, the brave, the honorable, the beautiful, the fierce, the honorable Mayor Bowser.
Give a big round of applause to the Honorable Robin McKinney. It's really great to see everyone here and to talk about Reunion Square. This is our first tax increment financing project in Ward 8. I frequently talk about putting all of our tools to work, and there is not a ward in the city that hasn't benefited from any number of tools for economic development, and some have a lot of tools all in one project, from tax abatements to TIF financing to housing affordability funds being put into the projects, and that's what it takes to make those work. And I'm proud to be the mayor to deliver that for the first time to Ward 8. I am grateful for Council Member White's partnership. We were just together, and he may be on his way now, to ensure that this emergency legislation got through the council, and for all of the energy that we all put into making sure that this development will work to benefit the Ward 8 community. Right before we came here, as I said, we were at St. Elizabeth's breaking ground on the new Whitman Walker Healthcare Center. We also announced last week that we submitted plans, design plans for the new full-service hospital at St. Elizabeth's. And today we are celebrating that another incredible healthcare entity is coming to Ward 8, this time in Anacostia at this project. And that will be the headquarters for DC Health. And so that's good news. That's good news. We know when we can animate our main streets with jobs, with people working throughout the day, then that also sends the very strong signal to other entities that development is happening here, the community supports that development, and the development will be successful. We were pleased, for example, to welcome a Starbucks in Ward 8, the first one right here, and to welcome Busboys and Poets. And now Dr. Nesbitt is here. We were just celebrating the soon coming of DC Health to Ward 8. And so as we are making these investments and relocating our agency offices to Ward 7 and 8, we know that that will tell other businesses like our full-service grocers that this is where they should locate too. So before I finish, and since we are talking about this up-and-coming healthcare corridor, I also want to remind everybody to get vaccinated, to make sure that you go to the RISE Demonstration Center, Ron Brown High School, or Anacostia High School to get your free, safe vaccine. And also, you can still enter to win a new car, free groceries for a year, and free metro. So any person 12 years old and older should be going out to get their free vaccine. So with that, I want to now introduce, I don't know, has Councilmember White joined us? I want to now introduce Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This has been a rather exciting and busy day for us here in Ward 8. I am Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt. I have been the director for DC Health since 2015. So close to nearing 7 years of leadership here in the city addressing our health and making sure our residents remain healthy and have all the resources that they need. So what does it represent that DC Health is relocating its headquarters here to Shannon Place in Ward 8? You know, some people think that it represents greater access to community health services or easier ways to enroll in WIC. Well, those services are already out in the community. So relocating our headquarters doesn't bring those services to the community in any different way. We've got many partners now currently in Ward 8 who are ready, willing to serve folks. A lot of the people who come into our headquarters are really business leaders, people who work in the food retail industry, our health professionals. And so we see this as an opportunity to help introduce them to Ward 8. As the mayor mentioned, we want to be able to attract more full-scale grocers, more small businesses to help meet the daily needs of our residents here in Ward 8. So all of the patrons who come to DC Health headquarters here at Shannon Place will have the opportunity to see how great it is to do business over here in the great Ward 8. So we are ready. We're looking forward to this at DC Health, and we hope that many others will join us in this community soon. And now I'm going to introduce Councilmember Trayon White to have him say a few words regarding his steadfast leadership here in Ward 8 and his views and thoughts on this great project here at Shannon Place. Councilmember White.
Good afternoon. It's an exciting day right here in the great Ward 8. First, I want to thank our mayor, Muriel Bowser, for leadership. Give her a round of applause. There's an old scripture that I quote often, and it says, well, there's no vision, the people perish. And there's been great vision right here in great Ward 8. And first, I want to acknowledge this man behind me who had a big vision, not just for Ward 8, but for Washington, D.C. Mayor for Life, Marienburg. Give him a round of applause. So we're here, right here in Anacostia, where we have a lot of needs, not just in Anacostia, but throughout Ward 8. And there's always the saying, what about us, right? And when we going to get some of that? Or when we going to go there? And I believe this is a beginning of a new era of leadership and equity here in Washington, D.C. And that we've had our long fought-out battles and meetings and arguments about what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. But guess what? It's happening right here in Ward 8. And so we want to thank, first of all, any ANCs here, if you can raise your hand, or former ANCs, raise your hand. We want to thank our ANCs here today. Give them a round of applause for standing on the front line, fighting for our residents each and every day to ensure that we have the amenities that we see throughout the district, throughout this region. And so we have been in conversation about, is this going to be a building? Is it going to be a hotel? Is it going to be an apartment? If how many apartments? We need a training facility. And somehow, some way, by the grace of God, we landed on that vision. So I'm happy to join you all today along with 4 Points, along with the Curtis brothers, along with the many partners that we've assembled with the Deputy Mayor's office to ensure that we can move this project right along. And there are so many opportunities here. There's great potential in Ward 8. People say those people over there, but the reality is we have some of the best minds, some of the most brilliant people some of the most resilient people right here in Ward 8 that's coming to be a part of the project, not just to receive development. And I always say we do a lot to talk about developing buildings here in the district, but we also want to be mindful that we have to develop people as well. And there are a lot of people in this ward that need not a handout, but a hand up, even in the development field. And so I'm excited to join you today to begin a new phase of economic equality and equity here in Washington, D.C. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. We look forward to the mission and vision of what we're doing right here in the great Ward 8. God bless.
Well, thank you, Councilmember White. My name is John Falchicchio, and I serve as Mayor Bowser's Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. And as Councilmember White mentioned, DemPed has been working with the team here and the community to make sure that this project can come to fruition and fulfill the mayor's vision for historic Anacostia. And so one of the tools, and the tool that the mayor mentioned, was a TIF. So everybody knows what a TIF is, right? Show of hands. Yes? All right. Well, we got some hands that were still down. Let me just go over it just for the folks watching at home. So tax increment financing takes the taxes that'll be generated at this site. So think about it. The different commerce that'll happen, the sales tax that are generated, property tax that are generated, other taxes that are generated right here at the site, and put it back into this site, right? And so why that's important is because what it means for Ward 8, Councilmember, is that the benefit that's generated by building these new buildings stays right here in Ward 8, and that's so important. And so DemPed, and got to thank the team, Saroshad Padwala and Jonathan Kane, who are both here. Want to thank them for leading the negotiation for the district on this. And Councilmember White knows that what we wanted was to make sure that this development actually benefited the folks who live here today by providing 143 units of affordable housing, 134 of which will be dedicated to seniors. And those units include 25 units for those earning less than 30% of the median family income, and 95 households earning less than 60% of the median income. That also, the project will include 2,000 square feet of affordable space for local retail. So we want retail. We want all the retail that's west of the river, east of the river, but we also want to make sure that there is space for Ward 8 businesses. So 2,000 square feet of space for that, and 5,000 square feet of affordable local office space for Ward 8 businesses as well. It also is going to help us enhance the Anacostia Playhouse, and of course, be the new home. I know Dr. Nesbitt is excited. I could picture her on that terrace having lunch and looking out over historic Anacostia, the new home and headquarters of DC Health. And when you think about it, what Mayor Bowser alluded to was we are creating a health center here in Ward 8. Dr. Nesbitt mentioned that the services are here, but we'll also have the leadership here as well. So stretching from here where DC Health will be housed to the St. Elizabeth's campus, where we'll have a brand new hospital and the new headquarters for DBH and a new Whitman Walker headquarters as well, what we're celebrating today. All of that is coming to Ward 8. And so we really are thankful to the community, of course, Commissioner McKinney, your leadership in welcoming this project with open arms and holding us accountable so that all that we mentioned here today, that we make sure we deliver. And with that, I want to bring up the CEO of 4 Points, John Gerber, to tell you a little bit more about the timeline and how we're going to make sure we see this through to fruition. So with that, we'll bring up John.
Good afternoon. My name is John Gerber. I'm CEO of 4 Points. On behalf of our entire team who has worked tirelessly on this project to make this day possible, I want to thank everyone here for attending this event and enduring this extraordinary heat. There are simply too many people to mention and thank by name. But even in this heat, we cannot let the day pass without giving our special thanks to Mayor Bowser for her support and leadership to locate district agencies east of the river and supporting this project through its many twists and turns, which there have been many, to get to this day. We also want to thank Councilmember White for his enduring support and leadership for this project and his efforts to work with us to create a program of community benefits that truly integrate Ward 8 community and provide significant economic opportunity and benefit. We would also like to thank Councilmember McDuffie, Deputy Mayor John Falchecchio, Jonathan Kane, and the rest of the DEMPED and OCFO teams for leading the effort for the Reunion Square TIF. It is a groundbreaking day for that, without which this project simply would not be possible. In addition, we also want to thank the leadership teams of the Department of General Services and, of course, the Department of Health for this important new headquarters east of the river, and our local community partners, among them the ANC commissioners, especially Holly Mohammed and Robin McKinney, for their continuing support. We also want to thank and acknowledge some of our joint venture and development partners on the Reunion Square team, especially George Curtis and Mike Gimbert, who's here today, and the entire development team of the Curtis Investment Group, as well as Chico Horton, who is our partner on the project from Blue Sky Housing. The Curtis family of businesses, as most of you know, have owned property in this area and been part of this community for many years, decades in fact, starting with their family furniture business, which among other things brought us the famous big chair. And the Curtis team has worked closely with our group for many years to make this project possible. Finally, we also want to thank our project financing partners, including Citizens Bank, Hudson Realty Capital, Mitsubishi Corporation, and LISC for their tremendous financial support. And thank Davis Construction, our general contractor, and Hickok Cole, our project architect, who are working to make this a first-rate corporate headquarters for the Department of Health. Among its many qualities, other than being a great piece of architecture, the new headquarters will be a LEED Gold project, which all of you know means that it will meet some of the highest environmental standards in design and construction industry today. Future phases have been mentioned of the project will include a hotel, about 60,000 feet of additional office space and neighborhood serving retail, and a 134-unit affordable senior living facility. These future phases are part of an 8-acre redevelopment plan involving about 1.5 million square feet of mixed-use development approved for the surrounding properties. The Reunion Square project will bring dramatic economic development and added vibrancy to the historic Anacostia neighborhood of Ward 8, and will leverage investments already made and planned by the District of Columbia. This new headquarters, we believe, will be an important next step in the redevelopment of these properties and turning it into a dynamic mixed-use urban center that it already is. Again, thank you everybody for your support and coming today. To John's point, with groundbreaking today, we expect delivery of the project about this time in 2023. So big things will start happening here in the next few months, and we're all excited to have you come back and visit whenever you want during construction, but certainly whenever he opens. So thank you.
Mayor, and with that, we'll invite everybody up. Mayor, council member, commissioner, come on up, and we'll break ground here right now, once we get this podium out of the way. Here we go. Got that?
You good. Yeah, you could go up. Yeah, that's fine.